So you talked about some vertical applications. So last week you and I were involved in a webinar for hospitality. So what's Mitel's vertical strategy?
Yeah, so our vertical strategy is really stemmed out of providing differentiation and incremental value for our customer base. And it came out of some primary research we did a few years ago, which was really looking for really interesting UC use cases. And to be honest, when I was looking, and me and the team were looking for horizontal ones. We're a horizontal provider, so we were looking for, what's the next killer app that we can do, and where's that going to be? And what we kept on seeing again and again, that the ideas that we really liked were narrower. They were focused to solve a particular business problem for a narrow group of people, but it was a significant problem: changing customer satisfaction, increasing revenue, a key KPI, key performance indicator for that segment. And so that really spawned our whole thinking around verticals, saying, is there a way that we can take some of our generic solutions, put a layer on top that provides the tuning for a vertical? And that's really what's driven our vertical strategy over the last 18 months.
Now, one thing we didn't hear about today is CPaaS, or Communication Platform as a Service. What's Mitel's strategy going forward as far as that?
Yeah, so CPaaS is, there are a number of our competitors that are directly launching services in this space. And we looked at it and came up with a different business conclusion. Very much so, and this is a pattern that you would be familiar with, Blair, you've seen for a while. Mitel is an application company. So our transition that we made when we looked at something like virtualization, we changed our mix. We made less hardware, we made more software, and that was okay for us, right? It's worked well for us as part of our profitability story within Mitel, is we're an application-focused company. And so if you look at actually creating a CPaaS, for some of our competitors who are infrastructure companies that make data equipment or data center equipment, CPaaS is a route to sell more infrastructure. We've taken a different route. We think the discontinuity going forward for us is upping our game in application development. So looking at consumer-based development environments, things like Amazon Web Services, which was developed initially for Amazon for their own use, and then have been picked up by a series of consumer apps guys like
Netflix,
exactly, right? And have driven. And when you look at that, the productivity of how fast you can develop applications and how quickly you can pull in from the collective intelligence of the web, it's incredibly appealing for a company that's focused on developing applications. So we're not interested in running the data center. What we're really interested in creating new values, just like we talked about on verticals, right? Creating new values for communities of people centered around real-time communications. And so using an Amazon Web Services infrastructure rather than creating our own was the obvious way to go.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Jim.
Okay, no problem, Claire.